Science Beam is the provider of innovative solutions for neuroscience applications, including EEG, ERP, QEEG, neurofeedback, and animal electrophysiology systems. Science Beam's team includes more than 50 neuroscientists, physiologists, and psychologists beside our professional computer and electronic engineers. Over 20 years of experience, they have been able to design and produce lots of high-tech electrophysiology and neuroscience products. Science Beam is an international company that is founded in China and expanded rapidly across the Middle East. We design and produce a full range of biosignal recording systems, including the brain, muscle, and heart, from 1 to 128 recording channels in human and animal models. eWave, our powerful EEG and ERP accusation system, is used for both clinical and research purposes. eWave is a portable and lightweight device that has a 24-bit resolution and 1,000 samples per second sampling rate for each channel. Using eWave, you can simultaneously record a wide variety of physiological signals, including EEG, ECG, EMG, and GSR. For research purposes, Science Beam has offered eWave Plus, that is a precise EEG/ERP accusation system with 32, 64, or 128 recording channels. This high-tech amplifier can be used for simultaneous recording of EEG with TMS, TDCS, and FNIRS.
Hello everyone, I welcome all friends who are present in our workshop from all of the world, from Africa, Asia, Europe, and America, North and South America. We are going to start the webinar in a few minutes. We have been just waiting for other participants to join us. If you want, you can introduce yourself. Okay.
Hello. Do you hear me?
If you want, you
Hello.
can open a microphone and introduce yourself.
Hi, am I audible? Hello, am I audible?
Thank you. Dr. Libra,
Hello. Hello.
Hi, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
please raise your hand and open your microphone. Nice to know you. And Dr.
Hello.
Hi, can you hear me?
I can't hear your voice.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear your voice.
Okay. Hi, I'm Dr. Charlene from South Africa. I'm a neurofeedback practitioner, and I'm very excited to learn more about your presentation.
Okay, nice to know you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, another person.
Hi.
Yes, Dr. Vikas.
My name is Vikas Tiwari. I'm from India. I am a medical doctor and technical neurology in Government Medical College, India.
Okay, nice to know you. Thank you so much.
Same here.
Hello,
Hello. How
my
are
name
you?
is Shoaib. I'm fine. I'm neuroscience technologist. Currently, I'm working United Arab Emirates Hospital Group.
Okay. Nice to know you.
Nice to know. Thank you.
Thank you. Me too.
Thank you.
Hello,
Hello.
my name is Adele Mamjomeh. I am psychologist. I'm from Iran, but I'm living in Turkey.
Okay, nice to know you, Dr.
Nice to meet
Adele.
you.
Thank you so much.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you. Me too. Okay, now we can start.
Yes, it's not.
If you're ready, we can start. Okay, I'm Sunny from the Science Film Company. The Science Film Company is a designer and manufacturer of brain-related products, including clinical and research products. One ever-main device is neurofeedback device. This webinar about neurofeedback and of the basic and introduction to the neurofeedback therapy, and also we will have a practice part in which we will show you how to do all the neurofeedback detail and how to do it. Now I'm going to share my screen and start my presentation. Yes. Now we will start the Neurofeedback webinar. First, let's have a look at what's the neurofeedback. With neurofeedback, everyone can stop with that. Why? Wait a minute, please. First, let's have a look at what's the neurofeedback. With neurofeedback, everyone can improve the brain. We train children and teenagers and adults from age 2 to 92. For children, often used for ADHD, anxiety and behavioral issue, learning and developmental delay, struggle in school. For adults, commonly used for anxiety, depression, obsession, and sleep problems. Neurofeedback measures brain activity like brainwave, and it helps you make more or less of certain brain pattern by changing brain activity or by changing how one area of the brain talks to another. Yeah, you can improve attention control of your emotions and behavioral. There is research on how it helps migraine, pain, conscious, addiction, and seizure. But what do all these have in common? And then brain issue with neurofeedback. Your brain changes itself, and when it does, typically any of these issues improve. It's not all about problems. Neurofeedback improves performance by changing the timing of the brain. That can help anyone in performing in school, business, or sport. It helps give you an edge. Neurofeedback is different from brain games like Lumosity or tutoring or trophy. Those focus on changing your skills or behavior or how you think. And neurofeedback is focused on changing the brain. There are parts of your brain that help you pay attention, that help you be calm, that help manage your mood and your emotions, or that help you sleep. You don't realize how much your brain affects your mind with neurofeedback. You get to see how changing your brain can have a huge impact on your life. And how do we do neurofeedback? First, we put a sensor on your head. Commonly, we measure EEG or electroencephalographic brain activity with a special computerized system. The system gives you feedback such as play a movie or hearing a music. For example, when you make a certain amount of data brainwave, the movie will play perfectly, but as soon as you're less alert and awake, the movie starts to fade. Out, you rapidly learn how to keep the movie from fading out by changing the brain activity. That's been trained. Your brain has a way of figuring out how to get movie to play. And once you learn a new pattern, and that may take practice, your brain tend to remember it. There is a lot of published research that shows that the brain learns from feedback, and the measurable changes in brain activity occur after training. So how do you change your brain? It's just learning. Children learn to play a video game, and they never manual their brain figure it out. And how do you balance on a bike and not fall over? Somebody probably shows you, but it's your brain that figure out how to balance. When you train brain activity, your brain figure out and how to balance it on activity. So once you train, the brain just sleep while you don't forget how to ride a bike, even if you hadn't ridden in 10 years rather in 10 years. It's the same with neurofeedback. Once your brain learns, you don't tend to forget it. There are exceptions, particularly if there is disease like Alzheimer or a neurological issue, but there is still a way to train your brain. We can change with neurofeedback, and over time have a profound effect on learning, memory, attention, mood, migraine, and for more. If you or someone you know could benefit from improving the brain. Neurofeedback is also called EG, biofeedback, brain training, neurotrophy, nerve training, attention training, peak performance training, and these are the other name that when you hear actually this according to the neurofeedback. Now look at this. What does it mean? When we say neurofeedback, but what does it mean? It actually means translate brainwave to visual, auditory feedback to improve a certain brain function. For example, in this slide, you can see a complete setup of a neurofeedback. It shows that you will gathering some data from the client, and that data you're gathering that goes. And then you will have a monitor the feedbacks. All they can be visual or auditory feedback will be shown, and the monitor after that signal processing technique. The neurofeedback loop will be complete, and we will discuss all the steps and the future slides. Brain training, which is another meaning of the neurofeedback. Actually, exercising the brain and is a mental workout. In this slide, we will look at the neurofeedback component. The three main components of neurofeedback are the brain, the EEG signal, that is the data recorded from the brain, and also the feedback. So in neurofeedback look, we have three main components, which you can see this slide, which are brain EEG, and feedbacks and brain. In neurofeedback training, the brain is looking at itself like in a mirror. Every small movement, frequency and voltage of a brain wave is recognized by the brain as its own activity, then tune, adjust, and refine. and it will be leading to high performance with stability and flexibility in mental state of calmness and focus. Here is the focus. And here is the question, what is the feedback? Feedback is any information received by the learner as a result of a movement. The feedback occurs during or after the movement. So one question. What is the theory behind of the neurofeedback? When you have information about what your brain waves are doing, your brain can use that information to change how it works. So the main theory behind the neurofeedback, the theory that leads to use the neurofeedback is that when you have information about what your brain is doing and how it functions, then your brain can use information in order to change how it works. In other words, neurofeedback helps you harmonize your brain waves naturally, and it's very important. Without medication, this is the most important of neurofeedback therapy. We can treatment without medication. During the neurofeedback session, your brain learns how to bring abnormally fast or slow wave into the normal range. So when we using the neurofeedback technique, it's obvious that some brain waves are slower or faster than the normal range. So we have to bring them back to the normal range. So this is the reason that we use the neurofeedback in order to let the brain learn how to bring the abnormal wave into the normal range. Now let's have a deeper look into the concept of neurofeedback, how the process is actually going on. When we are going to have a deeper look, we will see that in a nervous system, the brain cells produce a chemical and electrical signal in this slide. In this slide, you can see the picture of the brain cells and the different part of them that the dendritoma, synapse, and axon, and other part of the brain cells. The brain cells are the smallest part of the nervous system. So when we have a deeper look, we will go to the brain cells in this slide. You can see the brain cells and the different part of the brain cells. The brain cells produce chemical and electrical signal, and the electricity reflects normal cell activity as information is transferred from cell to cell. For example, in this slide, you can see the information will be transferred from one brain cell to the other cell through the synaptic. So this is not what I'm going to discuss, but this is different concept of neurofeedback. In this slide, we can detect this electrical signal using the sensor or electrode, which will be placed on a skull. These electrodes pick up information about the brain wave. In the system, now we see that EEG cap will be placed on a subject skull, and the electrode will be gathering the data from the brain cells, and then we can see the signals and the data that has been gathered from each sensor. For example, in this image, you can see that EEG cap placed on a subject head, and the electrodes which are placed on a skull can be used to gather data and to record the signal from the different parts of the brain. The electrodes are acting similar to the way stethoscope pick up information about our heart and lungs. So these electrodes gathering the data like the way that the other device works, and they gather data from the brain. The signal that we're gathering is very tiny signal, which is measured by amplification signals to be magnified by some kind of amplifier, which is then fed through the computer. In this, you can see device and amplifier, which is used for amplification and magnified very tiny EEG signal that has been recorded by the electrode placed on a skull. The pattern of brainwave activity varies depending on which part of the brain we are looking at, as well as what we are doing. So this means that the brainwaves, the data, the signals that you're recording from the brain is different part of the brain. So for example, the signals, the data recording from the frontal part of the brain might be different from the your recording from occipital or parietal or temporal part of the brain. And also the signal that you're recording is dependent on what state the subject and the person that you are recording. For example, if the subject relaxing state, or he is doing some kind of complex work, or if he is sleeping, or he is relaxing, or he has mental activity. So this is important to know that the signal or the data you are recording from the brain is completely dependent on which part of the brain we are looking at and what state that the subject is in. In different mental state, different type of the brain wave dominant. In this slide, you can see the picture of the human brain wave. The picture gives you understanding different brain wave and the shape of the different brain wave, and that each brain wave is dominant in which kind of state and in which part of the brain. So here actually we will discuss all the brain wave further, but in this slide just want to show you 5 main brain waves, which are the delta, theta, alpha, beta, and gamma. So you can see the different shape of them and actually the frequency range of each brain wave. Let's go to the concept of the neurofeedback, normal and regulate brain. Actually, then we are talking about the concept of neurofeedback, why we are going to actually do the neurofeedback, because we are going to use to the neurofeedback as a treatment. The only reason that the brain has gone out of the normal range, the normal brain has gotten into the abnormal. This abnormal functioning, so this is the reason that we have to look at the normal brain wave. So what do we call normal brain? Actually, we are a normal brain wave. It has a good balance of the brain wave, and also it has ability to shift easily from one brain state to another. So in normal people, in normal brain, they have a good balance of the brain wave and the ability to shift easily from one brain state to another. So what do we mean by this regulate brain? We have two concepts here. For example, we say that this regulate brain, it was supposed to be calm, but it tends to be overestimated. Brain was supposed to be alert, and now it tends to be underestimated. So this is the meaning of dysregulate brain wave. So the normal brain has gone into the dysregulate brain, and it's not function is as was supposed to be. So, in other words, the dysregulate may have to match up some frequencies over others or in the wrong key. Or it may have unstable frequency, or may it have an impaired ability to shift from one mental state to another. Let me say that another concept is under arousal. It's under arousal. It's maybe indicate problem with disorder like depression and ADHD, and over arousal is maybe indicate problem with anxiety disorder, such as panic attack, PTSD, agoraphobia, and etc. Then we say brain instability. It may be indicate problem with bipolar disorder, seizure disorder, and migraine. So we will actually concept of the brainwave further in the next slide. But I want to show you meaning of the normal brain according to the brainwave in this slide. So in normal brain, left hemisphere beta, it's supposed to be right higher than right hemisphere. If this equation was not correct, if we had a problem with this equation, it may be indicate anxiety, and anxiety mixed with depression. Besides the right hemisphere, alpha should be higher than left hemisphere alpha. And if we had problem in this equation, it may be indicate depression. Also, the right hemisphere theta must be some kind of equal with left hemisphere theta. If we had a problem with this equation, it may be indicate different disorder. We can show this assessment. We can show assessment in the software, eLife software. Besides, when we go over comparison between front and back of the brain, the another beta must be higher than posterior beta. So if we have a problem with equation, it may be indicate insomnia, anxiety, and hyperactivity. Also, posterior alpha must be higher than anterior alpha. If we had problem in this, it might be depression and ADD. And the other equation, we focus on anterior theta must be higher than posterior theta. And if we had a problem with this equation, it's actually clear, so it needs further assessment. So until now, we gone over the concept of a neurofeedback and the neurofeedback setup. What's the meaning of the normal brain wave? What's the meaning of the dysregulate brain now? That the meaning dysregulate brain. And now we have a good news here, and the good news here is that your brain can be retrained. So even if a brain functionality has gone, actually the brain functional is not very good, and your brain has gone to the dysregulated brain and is not normal. We have a good new brain, that the brain can be retrained. Okay, your brain can be retrained. So what's the meaning of self-regulation? We talk about self-regulation. Self-regulation is the main and the most important concept of the neurofeedback, because when we are talking about neurofeedback and about self-regulation, possibility of the brain, so your brain is capable of self-regulation, and this means that affect some repetition and new habit. And also the brain is slowly learning to engage in a new way, as feedback teaches to self-regulate it and correct a specific activity. So the most important concept that we talk about in neurofeedback is the self-regulation, which is something that our brain are capable of. Some question. What are neurofeedback risks? The good news is that no risk in a neurofeedback, and neurofeedback just monitor the electrical activity of the brain, and if doesn't send anything to the brain, so just recording and monitoring the electrical activity and not sending anything to the brain, so there is no risk. And in this slide, I want to show you what is the relationship between brain and behavior and EEG. As you may know, the brain is As you may know, the brain is consists of different lobes. We call them parietal, frontal, temporal, occipital lobe. Those are the main lobes of the brain. So as I mentioned in the previous slide, the activity that we are recording from the brain is completely dependent on a part of the brain that we are recording from. So there are the lobes and what are the different lobes have different characteristics and are related to different modes. So parietal lobe, I'm just going to go over this fast. So the parietal lobe for sensation, perception, body awareness, attention, and language, while the frontal lobe is responsible for executing a functioning, memory, movement, reasoning, problem solving, concentrating, personality, and occipital lobe is important for vision, perception, and temporal lobe for responsible for emotional, hearing, auditory, and long-term memory. So we will have a kind of short look at the brain wave from the concept of microvolts and hertz. Each brain wave can be measured in terms of the parameters. We call them microvolts, which is the amplitude or height of the wave, and other parameters is hertz, which is frequency and speed of the wave per second. So here you can see the brain wave or a signal, and you can see that each brain wave or each signal that you record can be measured in terms of two parameters. The microvolts show the amplitude and height of the wave, and hertz show the speed and frequency of the wave per second. Frequency is the speed of electrical wave, which is measured in cycle per second. We call it hertz. And amplitude is the power of an electrical impulse measured in microvolt. Also in this picture, you can see this concept of the amplitude and frequency. We need the parameter because we are going to definition of the brainwave. So we are going to talk about frequency bandwidth, signal frequency organized into discrete groups. Are the frequency band is each band is associated with a specific characteristic, and the amplitude and multiple reading uh, uh, reflects cause of the activity within the bandwidth. Actually, neurofeedback training is aimed to changing the amplitude of a select frequency bandwidth. So the first frequency band width, we will talk about delta wave. The delta band frequency, actually the frequency, this frequency band is different in various references. In some references, they say that the frequency range is 0.5 to 3, the delta band. But in some reference, the delta wave is considered between 4 to 8 hertz, and which is related to deep sleep state, complex problem solving. The slowest brain wave with the highest amplitude, dominant brain wave in infants up to 6 months old. And 40% of the amplitude in infants is related to the delta wave. Also, less than 5% of the amplitude in a normal adult in the delta band. So, high amplitude of delta wave. High amplitude of delta wave higher than the normal range. It maybe indicate learning disability and ADHD. It maybe indicate sleepy brains and also brain injury. So when we talk about brain wave, the normal range of the brain wave, but when we have a lower and higher amplitude, is the normal brain wave. It means indicates some kind of mental disorder that we are going at discuss. And so when you have when you had amplitude of delta wave, remember that the high amplitude of delta adults may be seen trauma, but the high amplitude of theta may be seen in complex solving problems. The frequency range of theta is 4 to 7 or 8 hertz. It's related to creative internal focus. Doubt in theta are visual or emotional, and higher amplitude of theta wave in children compared to adults. Theta-related disorder, when theta increase or when we see high amplitude of theta, it's related to ADHD, depression, impulsive disorder, lack of attention, processing problem, such as ADD, foggy brain, and low amplitude of theta is related to anxiety or stress. And theta related with in patients with the seizure experience do not increase theta, and in PTSD, increasing theta may cause evoking unwanted memories, and it's recommended not to increase the theta in frontal lobes. The frequency range of alpha is 8 to 12 hertz. It's related to alertness, peacefulness, readiness, meditation, mainly in occipital lobe, in consciousness with eye closed. When we close our eyes, we can see alpha in the occipital lobe. Approximately 10% of the population do not have alpha wave, which may cause anxiety and memory disorder or PTSD. High amplitude alpha is related to daydreams, ADD or ADHD, depression, traumatic brain injury, and marijuana usage. High posterior alpha is related to anxiety or insomnia. Another frequency range is SMR or sensory motor rhythm, refer to oscillation in electric or magnetic fields records over the sensory motor cortex. The frequency range of the SMR or sensory motor rhythm is 12 to 15 Hz. It's related to relaxed yet focused, stillness, calm mental state. In ADHD disorder, we can see decreased SMR because we can see this. Reflecting before acting and sleep spindle. Sensory motor rhythm is related, if we can see higher amplitude of SMR when the sensory motor cortex is not active and the person is focused on something. Sometimes the SMR is taken for the occipital alpha wave, and enhancing SMR neurofeedback is recommended for ADHD, epilepsy, and autism. We can increase the SMR with neurofeedback. And beta wave. The frequency range of beta is 15 to 22 Hz. It's related to thinking, focus, sustained attention, problem solving, and externally oriented. Left, in left hypoactivation in the brain, we can see the depression. And when increase beta in the left hemisphere, it's the right hemisphere. If increase beta in the right hemisphere, it's related to anxiety disorder. High amplitude beta, it can be shown sleep disorder, obsessive compulsive disorder, or bruxism. Because beta is high amplitude, okay, and it's a fast speed. And high beta, the frequency range of the high beta is 23 to 35 Hz. It's related to hypervigilance, very fast cognitive processing, alert wakefulness, and intense mental activity. High amplitude of high beta is related to overthinking, rumination, obsessive compulsive disorder. Now, how long is the treatment? Typically, training is 2 or 3 times a week, and for many conditions, 40 sessions. 20 sessions for 40 sessions is normal session for neurofeedback treatment. For really intense problem such as autism spectrum disorder, 100 or 200 sessions may be needed. But result may not be as complete. How long is the sustained effect of neurofeedback? Neurofeedback works slower compared to medication. Unlike medication, once training is stabilized, the effects are long-term and neurofeedback can be caused, whereas with medication, you need to take it for the rest of your life to obtain the benefit. And neurofeedback can help ADD or ADHD, addiction, anxiety, attachment disorder, autism, sport function improvement, and etc. Learning disability, migraines, OCD, post-traumatic stress, sleep disorder, stroke, and traumatic brain injury. I want to explain about International 1020 System of Electrode Placement. It's established in 1958, and electrodes are spaced at 10% or 2% of distance between specified anatomical landmark. Use 21 electrodes, but other can be added. We can increase the spatial resolution, record from a specific area, monitor other electrical activity. This is the 1020 system. We should measure from nosion to onion area, and we will show you. What is the ADHD? A medical condition results in certain neurological differences. Behavioral characteristics, the one problem with attention, lack of impulse control, motor restlessness, and ADHD classification with inattentive and impulsive hyperactivity. And we can diagnose with assessment via neurofeedback. We can use a theta-beta ratio, and it should. If the theta-beta ratio more than 2.5 to 3 for children and more than 2 for adults, indicate attention problem. We can see this part in a software. We can see, and wait a minute, please. Next part, we want to show you the software, and we have a practical neurofeedback. And if you don't have any question, we can continue after 15 minutes. Do you have any question about this part? But now we want to show you a video about the software. Now we want to show you a video. Please share it. My colleague wants to show you the video.
It gives the brain direct feedback so it can regulate itself. The brain produces neurotransmitters that make us happy, energized, and transmitters that make us happy, energized, and hopeful about life. If there is a dysregulation in the brain may not produce enough natural opiates such as dopamine or serotonin. This can lead to serious disorders such as anxiety and depression. With neurofeedback, anyone, including children, teenagers, and adults, can improve their brain. For children, it's often used for ADHD, emotional and behavioral issues, learning and developmental delays, and struggles in schools. For adults, it's commonly used for anxiety, depression, obsessing, and sleep problems. Neurofeedback measures brain waves while making certain patterns more or less. Actually, with neurofeedback, your brain can change itself. Now, let's see how neurofeedback works. Commonly, your brain activity is measured using an EEG amplifier. The computerized system gives you feedback. There are different ways to receive this feedback. It can involve playing a game, listening to a music, or watching a video. These feedbacks only operate when your brain waves are functioning within an optimal range. This acts as a reward for your brain. When your brain waves fire at a rate that's not optimal, you'll receive a negative feedback, such as video pausing or music stopping. During neurofeedback training, your brain rapidly learns how to receive rewards by functioning within its optimal range. Once your brain learns new patterns, it tends to remember them. ScienceBeam offers high-tech neurofeedback systems with 2, 4, or 8 recording channels that best match your needs in clinical centers. Stay with us to learn more. To digital converters and high input resistance. Using eWave, you benefit from a highly precise amplifier providing high-quality signals that is compatible with many games and videos for neurofeedback therapy. To start a neurofeedback session, sensors are placed on the head and ears to record the brainwaves. The high-tech eWave device records brain activity and breaks it into 4 key frequency subbands. During the session, the neurofeedback clinician views the raw EEG signal as well as the chosen frequency bands in eProbe software that is developed by the ScienceBeam company. Exercises can be done with either eyes open or eyes closed. In eyes open condition, the client is watching a video, playing a game, or listening to a music. These are the feedbacks that brain receives during the neurofeedback therapy. The negative feedback tells the brain that something is out of balance and causes it to figure out how to return to a seamless movie, music, or game. If the client's brain doesn't function within an optimal range, the client receives a negative feedback, such as stopping the video, decreasing the sound of the song, or shrinking the image of the movie. Over the course of a neurofeedback training program, the brain learns from the received feedbacks to operate within a more optimal range outside of training sessions. For more information about clinical eWave, despite the remark. We believe that the human brain is the most important structure of the human body and the central organ of our human nervous system. Despite the remarkable advances made in the medical sciences, the brain's functionality still remains a large mystery to us. One of the most interesting questions around this matter is whether the brain can be used in the development of artificial intelligence technology. For example, can we control a remote robot just by mind or a specific brain activity? Can we connect a robotic arm to the brain and thereby move it? For a long time, such interesting ideas were nothing but science fiction stories, but today they have become reality. BCI, brain-computer interface, and BMI, brain-machine interface, are two leading technologies in this field who can bring us closer to this dream. Recently, Ruby Mind Company has released a new product that can be controlled by the electrical activities of the brain and body, or in other words, EEG, EMG, ECG, or any other kind of biological signals. In fact, this new fantastic product opens a new window in the neurofeedback and biofeedback method. Now, by using the new version of the Evade system, a recording device made in the RubyMind company, you can control a remote toy or a robot just by an appropriate change in the muscle signals or by improving a specific brain activity. This tool would be a much more effective method in neurofeedback and biofeedback therapy than any other existing technique. It can be used as a treatment for patients with cerebral palsy, as well as many other mental disorders such as hyperactivity, depression, addiction, lack of attention, and autism. This modern and interesting system certainly makes the therapy session more exciting and applicable to patients, especially to children. But how does it work? The answer is quite simple. If a client tries to bring her or his biological signals closer to a normal signal, she or he will get a reward. That is to say, the robot will start moving. And whenever the client is unable to pass the certain threshold, the robot will stop. The neurotherapist can adjust the logic and speed of this behavior according to the treatment protocol. The RubyMind team insists on walking over the edges of science and technology by following incredible and novel ideas and designing high-tech neuroscience equipment. Now, we hope that our new powerful devices provide a more efficient way in the treatment of many mental disorders.
Hi, is this supposed to be sound?
Uh, Hello again. Can you? Would you give me a feedback? Okay. Do you have any question about last part? Do you have any question? Now, I want to explain about the accessory and the device. The device and
Hi,
yes,
excuse me. This is
yes,
Dr.
hi.
Nitya Manoj. I am a rehab physician from India.
Nice to meet
I
you.
have a doubt. See, we have discussed about the common patterns of the waves and what all conditions can come right. Do we take into consideration the personality profile of the client before deciding which is normal or which is abnormal? Because that doesn't the wave patterns vary with the person to person?
Yes,
Should we
first,
consider that?
uh-huh. Yes.
Are we to take? Yeah.
Mhm. First, we should assessment the EEG assessment from the client, and then we can see and detect the wave brain frequency, and then we can detect it. For example, when a person with depression has increased alpha on the left hemisphere.
Okay. Yeah, please go ahead.
Okay.
Okay.
First, I want to explain about the device. The device and accessory for neurofeedback setup. As you know, that the device or amplifier is need to amplify and magnify good signals, and that are very tiny signals. So this is the main part. This is the another accessory. We need EEG cap or a neurofeedback cap, which will be placed on a subject. Uh, it has an electrode itself on a scope, and they will be used for gathering of the brain. This is the cap. And we need a cable. This is a cable for recording EEG or EMG or EKG, because this device we can record all of the signals, such as EKG, electrocardiogram, electromyograph or EMG signals, and EEG. And we can use this cable for recording signals. Another accessory is ear clips. We should connect the cable for ears. I'll show you. And an EEG gel or ultrasonic gel. show you. First, I should share my screen. Okay. This is a software. First, we should assessment or evaluate the person. Okay. The software has a menu. Template. First, we should click on a template and select the assessment or evaluation protocol. And then we can treatment. After evaluate, we can treatment. Evaluation 4-channel, there are evaluation 4-channel and evaluation attention index. First, I select evaluation attention index. We want to record EEG signal from a central zone. The software has a manual guide. First, we can click on a help menu for guideline. The CAP has 19 channels. Okay. For example, such as FP1 means frontal, FP2 frontal pole, F3, F4, FZ or temporal lobe, T7 or T8, it means temporal, occipital lobe, we can see O1 or O2. But in this protocol, we need a CZ, okay? We should put electrode on a CZ. First, I should measure the head. So we need measure for measure. Yes, here. Okay, first we should measure from nosion, this part is nosion, to onion part. For this client is 40, okay. And then we should find C, D. The half of 40 is 20, okay? And now we should inject gel this part. This is CZ. The cap has 19 channels. The cap has 19 channels. I should cap according to the CZ. Okay. The cable has an active and reference and ground. The active is a red, reference is green, and ground is black. Okay. According to this picture, we can put E electrode. First, I connect cable to the device, and the device has a clips, and we can connect to the device. The device can be connected via Bluetooth or USB cable. For connecting ear clips, we can use paste, EG paste. Okay, now we should connect ear clips. There are 2 ear clips in your pack. 1 and 2. Now I'll connect this one. For all of the protocol, there is a manual guide, and you can do. You know that this is a ground because it's black. Okay, ground should be left here. Should be connect left here, and reference should be right here. And this is
वीडियो देख रही हूँ.
This is CZ point. Now I connect active this one. Can you see active? Before you connect active, you should inject gel. Now I want to record from CZ, but sometimes you should record from the frontal lobe. Okay, so you should inject gel F4, F3. Now I want to record CZ. After that, we should connect the cable, or we can use Bluetooth. This is the menu help. Now I want to go to record page, record tab, and then we should connect the device. Click on the name of the device and play. Yeah, can you see the EG signal? This is a raw data. You can see raw data, EG signals. For neurofeedback, we should record EEG. But this device can be record EMG for biofeedback or EKG from heart. Please, eye blink. Can you see the type of the artifact? This is eye blink. Please, eye blink. Please press your keys. This is EMG signals. Okay, this is the artifact. In this report, this is the artifact. So the client should be calm and relaxed. Okay. For this protocol, there are 4 events. Can you see events? EF means eye fix, SR means silent reading, LI means listening, and VR means drawing. Now I want to save this data. And save it. This is the eye fix. Please fix your eyes. Just see the point. This event is finished. Another event is silent reading. Now we should prepare boot, and the client should be start reading. And now I click on SR. And the client should be reading, readable. Or listen to music. You can play a music for clients. Yeah, it's finished. Another event is drawing. Now the client should be drawing. Now I click on a drawing. Okay, now it's finished. You can see the drawing of the client. After that, we should stop software, and then we should go to analysis for EG data. I open. There are 4 events in this part: EF, iFix, SR. Another part is listening. Another is drawing. Okay, and then we should click on a PDF. And we can see this form. Okay. You should full screen this form. So, okay. And now we can see this form. There are 4 events: IFIX, silent reading, listening, and drawing. And we can see theta, beta, and high beta. Theta beta ratio is very important in for attention index. If theta beta ratio more than 2.5 to 3 for children, it can be show ADHD. For adults, it should be for adults. For adult, it should be under 2. Now for this client, we can see theta beta ratio is in IFIX is 2.09. In silent reading is 1.58. And average is 1.74. So this client is normal, okay?
Excuse me, it is given then more than 2 for adults, right? That's not the normal ratio, normal value.
No, normal value, it should be under 2.
Pardon me?
Under 2 is normal.
More than 2 or less than 2?
Yeah, more than 2 is abnormal. For adults.
It's abnormal.
Yeah.
It's abnormal.
Yeah. It's abnormal for adults.
Oh, so this attention index, what you have given is abnormal thing. Okay.
Yeah.
So can I just say the eyes fixed is 2.09. Does that mean it is abnormal?
Yeah, but average is important. Average of IFIX, silent reading, and listening and drawing is 1.74.
Oh, so overall. Thank
but
you.
If you want, you can decrease IFIX. Okay, you can decrease theta and increase beta in IFIX. If you want, you can do that for treatment. If increase theta and decrease beta, okay, it can be shown ADHD, yes. And now I want to show you the treatment protocol. For example, ADHD beta. Oh, you cannot see. Stop sharing. This is the list of the protocol. Okay. ADHD beta. I want to show you ADHD beta. Again, I share a screen. As you can see, this protocol We should decrease theta and increase beta and decrease high beta according to that form. Okay? Because when a client has a ADHD disorder, theta increase, beta decrease, and high beta increase. Okay? Now we want to increase beta. First, we should go to help menu and again inject gel on a FC. The green reference should be right here again. And ground should be left here again in this protocol.